That's why I can't get on social media before we start recording. Cause real talk, dog, I was
What?
I was starting to feel some sort of way, dog.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean for real? We're just talking about blackface and this whole like the Gucci, like, yes.
I know, man. That's ridiculous, dog. Thank God. I don't wear brands like that.
I'm about to stop you.
Because
you went extremely politically correct as soon as you hit record. You won't talking like that. You pull your white voice for the podcast. Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yeah,
because I'm an educated African American man. You said I put on my white voice.
All right, man. Let's get this podcast started, bro.
Derogatory.
Let's get the podcast started. You ready?
Yes. You guys started off.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jabril Salam.
And Muhammad Hassan.
And you are listening to the Young and Muslim Podcast.
Asalaamu Alakum, everybody. Peace and blessings.
You guys remember when I used to do that every single episode consistently? I'm back today. My energy levels are up.
It took me a while to bring him back. I'm not going to lie to you. What?
I was lost. I was led astray.
But now he has been found.
And I found coffee.
Hey, you've always had coffee, though.
Nah, I actually stopped drinking it for a while. I don't know. My body's been acting weird. I drink like a cup. I think in a week. Mind you, I used to run a coffee shop.
I bet you were surrounded by coffee.
Right, exactly. So in a day back at home, I was probably drinking 3-4 cups a day because I had one on the way to work, and I'll have like 3 or so throughout the whole day. Now I probably have like 5 throughout an entire 7-day week.
Dude, that's a huge improvement.
Yeah. No, it's not an improvement.
It is
miserable.
It's an improvement to my health, but not for my mental state.
Coffee is actually very healthy for you. Anyways,
yeah, right. Let's
get into it.
Let's not go on
because that's other stuff. Yes. It doesn't really matter.
Let's get straight to the point.
Today we have a very special episode because we have other people who are getting involved with this episode. No, we don't have any guests, but we are taking questions from you guys.
Thank you.
You guys, thank you. Yes. We decided that this episode we want to get everybody involved, and we want to get you guys to ask us some questions. And Grant, we don't have that many. I think these questions are very deep.
Quality questions.
Quality over quantity.
Always.
Quality.
Because we have no choice at this time.
Yeah, exactly. So for you guys, you 4 people who decided to ask us questions, we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And for all you guys that want to ask us questions, and you always think about stuff when you listen to these podcasts, leave comments on the YouTube channel, on our Instagram page, our Twitter. Like we're active on all those.
Exactly.
Hit us up. See what's up. Damn, ask us how we're doing every now and then. We're humans too.
Right.
Say hi.
What they do though? I think a lot of people do.
I think people are just using us. They just want to listen to us and then on to the next one. They don't really care.
No, I think you're getting too sentimental. Just a little bit too much.
Getting a little hurt. It's cool.
Let's dive into these questions.
Yeah, sorry, the coffee's flowing through here really hard right now. All right. Boom, 4 questions. Let's get to it. Give you guys. Well, Mo made a great point. Before I get into the question, you made a great point that the last episode was very heavy.
Yeah, the last episode was heavy.
So with this episode, we definitely want to try and keep it fast, light, quick, witty, funny. I don't know. Maybe we're funny. I think people think we're funny.
Funny looking. I don't know.
Go for it. Speak for yourself, buddy.
I look good.
So yeah, we're gonna hop into these questions, and what's fascinating about these questions is that these are all people who some of these people have been listening for a while, and they steadily engage with this. Man, it sounds really bad because it seems like only 4 people engage with this, but no, these are people who ask questions. We went live and we said, hey, ask us questions, yada yada yada. Go that way. Did you put Amo's question up here?
Oh no, yeah, how did I forget about Amo? I'm so sorry, Amo.
So
kind of friend of mine.
Read off the first question. And
I got you.
I'll find his really quick.
We got a question from brother Hamido. If you want to follow him on Instagram, it's the Ham Diesel. He is Muslim and he has ham in his name, which is not a problem at all. He just goes ham, right? So it says, what are some steps one can take if they're struggling to get their 5 prayers in? For example, they forget or isn't a part of their lifestyle quite yet, or just simply intimidated by their environment. Thank you for that question. Great question.
Ham Diesel. That was a diesel question.
Thank you, Hamido. Thank you.
Oh, you can go first, bro.
Okay. So, when it comes to this, when it comes to prayer, I try to take baby steps, right? I remember when I first committed myself to waking up for Fajr, right? And I went all out. I was like, okay, not only am I going to wake up for Fajr, but I'm going to go to the mosque and pray Fajr. That probably went well for 3 weeks. But then after that, I was so exhausted, I didn't wake up for Fajr the next month after that.
Talking about burnout.
But I was burnt out because not only did I have to wake up for Fajr, I had to wake up at least 45 minutes before that to get dressed, wash up, and then it was freezing cold outside. Then drive to the mosque, let my car warm up for like 10-15 minutes, right? It was cool. Like, I felt great, but I knew that I didn't take those baby steps. I didn't grow that foundation. So I would say the biggest thing is to build that foundation. So if you're starting off not praying at all, start with praying one thing, like Fajr. Even if you don't pray it on time, as soon as you wake up, just try to pray it. You know, just pray that. Then once you do that, once you get a nice steady flow going, then you pray Dur, right? Even if it's not on time, pray Dur. Then pray As. Then pray Maghrib. Then pray Isha. And then once you get those routines for those 5 prayers, the next focus is to pray on time. Then after you pray on time, the next focus, this is all for me, I'm talking like relative to my experience. After you pray on time, the next thing is to pray with khushu, which is focus. You know what I mean? Like praying with like meaning and like staying focused, you know? I would just say it's baby steps out of everything.
Yeah.
What about you?
I kind of... So the way that I started getting into it, it was like the buddy system. Like, I always had a hard time waking up in the morning. I'm not a morning person at all. So for me, Fajr is still like the last step. It's still a struggle. Like this morning, I missed it because I was just exhausted. I haven't gotten any sleep. On a regular basis, though, I am making Fajr now. Alhamdulillah. I'm able to make all 5 prayers, you know, most days of the week, right? But I think for me, Fajr was actually the last prayer that I was getting on board. The first ones that I was getting on board were Maghrib and Isha, just because I was already home. It was more convenient for me to do it. And when you're at work, like most people are throughout the day, it's a lot harder to get in, you know, during Asr because you're at work. You know, like you got tasks, you got things to do. And for me, like my last job was customer based, so I couldn't just close down my whole shop and then go pray, which I was doing every now and then, but there were a couple of times where customers came and I'm like, crap, you know? So I think taking the understanding and knowing that Allah will, you know, still bless you for making your prayers, even though they aren't on time, I think it's more important to get your prayers in than to be so like uptight and focused about like punctuality. You know what I'm saying? Punctuality matters. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that you have to understand that getting the prayers in is better than not getting them in.
Absolutely.
You know, so that was the way I took it. I had to take like a very relaxed approach. That way, I didn't burn myself out like Mo did.
Yep.
And when it comes to Fajr, like I always make Fajr at my apartment or at my house when I was back at home. Just because if I mentally know like I have to get up, I have to drive, warm my car up, it's snowing, it's raining outside, is it like I'm more likely to be daunted by that and then not go. So make prayer easy for yourself to do. You know, don't put yourself in a situation where you're making it extremely hard on yourself to make prayer because you'll burn yourself out.
Absolutely.
You know, and you'll give yourself more excuses when there's that day where you're like, I don't feel like it. You know, the other thing is don't be so hard on yourself for missing prayer. Like obviously we want to miss prayer, but there's a reason why we pray 5 times a day, not just once a day or twice a day. It's because we get many opportunities to praise the Lord. You know, my dad said something interesting on the phone the other day. He said that praying is important, but having the remembrance of Allah throughout the day entirety is just as important. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's also
dhikr, remembrance.
Oh yeah, okay,
you know
okay.
So like
God conscious, but you're talking about just
to always have remembrance of Allah in everything that you do. So he said that right there is the whole. That's why we pray to take that time away to focus on the remembrance of Allah. You know, and it's repeated many times in the Quran. But like people forget that they make prayer and then they're like, okay, boom, I did what I gotta do, and I'm out, right? I'm back in it. But throughout the day, it's also like it's just as important to also have remembrance of Allah. So that's the way that I was kind of raised and taught, and I've just doing my own studies and my own reading. Like
I like that a lot, especially because your dad brings up a great point. A lot of people think that they only communicate with Allah when it's time to pray, but you're talking just having that remembrance, like you're saying just du'as throughout the day, like Allah, allow me to get home safe. Bismillah before you eat in the name of Allah. So you have that remembrance. So that actually gets you closer, and prayer kind of helps with that too.
Yeah, but you know what's also important is don't take these rituals and just make them a part of like your mechanics of your day. You know what I'm saying? Like before you eat, like when you say Bismillah, like actually like feel that. You get in your car and you say Bismillah.
Bismillah.
Like, you like I begin there thinking like, yo, God, please look out for me today on these roads. You know what I'm saying? Like don't just do it as a formality.
Bismillah.
Yeah, exactly. Like
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Is like actually what our intent matters, but it's like what you put into it.
How can somebody do that though when it's
about being God? It takes practice. Yes. It takes practice. You know what I'm saying? And thankfully, like I was raised with parents who made it very important that quality is more important than quantity. You know what I'm saying? So there was this imam, I was listening to a podcast, and he said that, you know, the guys who are part of the Taliban and they're part of these terrorist groups, you know, it's been documented that, you know, the guards would say that these guys would pray literally all day. They wouldn't eat, they would just be praying. And they pray more than you and I could pray.
So on paper, you would think they would be the devout, perfect example of Muslims.
They got quantity of prayers, right? But yet in their hearts, they're hard as rock. Like their prayers don't matter, even though they're praying. Forgive me.
Not a soft heart.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, cool. You making all your prayers, they're on time. You're making extra prayers, extra sunnahs. You're praying dua, but like really, what's in your heart and what's in your mind. So, you know, that's why I say go easy on yourself, because you might not be praying as much as that guy, but where's your intent? What is in the what are the contents of your heart that matters? So it's a balance, right? That's the way that I've approached getting on my 5 prayers, is understanding that I'm not going to be able to get it right away. And it takes, like, I'm still trying to make sure I get Fajr every day. But at work now, like, I'm starting to get all my prayers in. And even for me, that's a little bit weird, like, being here and like, hey, yo, I'm about to go pray real quick, you know?
But let's still stay on this question, because this question, if you think about it, let's unpack it really quick. It's a 3-part question. So the first part says, what if you forget? That's when the buddy system comes in, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right about that, the buddy system, yeah.
Because sometimes I forget and the Jabril's like, oh, we got prayers. So I'm not going to be like, nah, bro, I'm not going to pray. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, yeah.
That was that one time.
That was that one time. No, see, even if I forget, I got somebody to back me up. If I don't have a buddy there, then if I forget, I forget.
Well,
but you also got to use the technology too.
Man, you read my
technology, right? The buddy system doesn't have to be only physical, right? It can be also the virtual community, right? You have different apps that when it's time to pray, the alarm goes off. Yeah. One thing that I've seen lately, Jibril, I don't know if you've done it on purpose, but it's making me really happy, is that when your alarm goes off for different prayers, the iqama goes off, and you let it run at work.
Yeah, I let that joint run.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there. I'm just sitting there like, let me see if he's on. Cause I have mine on silent. I just see it. It's just my phone on silent, and I'm like, is Jibril gonna let it run? It's a busy office. Everybody in there like, he a brave man. I was like, I don't know. He's brave, but we've set that platform at our job where people already know what's up.
Because I want them to know when I leave and I grab that rug, what I'm about to go do. You know what I'm saying?
You better go fly that magic carpet.
Quick, bless up. I'm about to go bless up real quick, you know? So yeah, no, that's important to set that precedence with the buddy system. Man, sorry. Well, the other part isn't part of the lifestyle quite yet. So yeah, that's what we kind of got at. Like, one thing my dad and I talked about is how, you know, the Prophet, peace and praise be upon him, would say that when you're traveling or on a journey, or you know ahead of time that you're going somewhere, you can combine certain prayers, right? And to do that, so that, you know, like if you're out with your friends and you're at a movie, like you're not, like the movie starts at Isha comes in at around 6:45. So you're not at a movie that starts at 6 and then you're like praying, you know, you leave the movie to go pray. It's like you can combine certain prayers.
I want some more thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I know when it comes to traveling, when I was going to Egypt and Saudi Arabia, we were at the airport. We did combine prayers. You know, we combined doing us because we know in the airplane because
you're not gonna be able to pray.
We want to be able to pray, but I do want to hear more just stories about that, just more opinions.
We can get that research. You know, again, I take it from my pops only because I know that he's not just pulling things out thin there.
Your dad's a certified imam.
Yeah,
he's putting the hours.
And not only that, like I've sat with him and we like when he has a question about something, he grabs the books.
Yeah.
He, you know what I'm saying, he's looking that stuff up and he's making sure it's verified.
Face value, he's taking it.
Yeah, before he just says, oh, okay, yeah, you know.
And if he says something wrong, he'll come back and let you know.
No!
Hey, what I said was
in my
not
family.
on point.
In my family, we learned that putting someone in their place when they're wrong is the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't let things go.
Square up.
Yeah. Oh my God! Fight my dad over. You didn't make salat on time. Intimidated by the environment at the time. So I ran into that not too long ago. So I was out.
That's actually big intimidation.
Yeah. So I ran into an issue where I was out, and prayer came in, and instead of me going to pray like right where I was at, because I was in a store, I decided to wait, and I had a bit of a debate with this person I was with, and I didn't think that was a right or wrong answer. And in my opinion, it's like I said, it's about the quality of your prayers. That's big for me. You know, my surroundings matter, because if I can't concentrate and if I can't fully give my attention and I can't put my heart into my prayer, why am I praying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's like I said before, if it's just
trying to cross it off.
Yeah, if you're just trying to fill a quota for the sake of like, oh, like I need blessings, blah, 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 blah. Like, bro, like why not put your all into each prayer as best you can? Like, I'm not saying that every prayer you're gonna be able to focus, but it's like
that's a good goal.
Put yourself in the right environment so that you can thrive and that your prayers can be accepted as best as they can. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of where I was at. And so eventually what happened, we ended up going to a masjid later on where I made up Maghrib and then Isha. So, you know, for me, this is how I do it. And this is my belief on it. Everybody's a little bit different, but I think your environment is vital. I think people who decide to pray in public, I think it's reckless, especially if you don't have that protection, because we're not supposed to put ourselves in danger. You know, and that's pointed out in the Quran. I don't have it exactly memorized, but you know, we aren't supposed to put ourselves in dangerous situations for the sake of just doing it, especially when we have the option. Like, we have cars, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta be smart, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a common sense religion. When the Sahabas used to go and fight during wartime, half of them prayed, the other half used to watch and protect them. If they all prayed, would that make sense? What if they got attacked?
Exactly.
So sometimes when I do have people that want to go out and pray in public, the thing goes to my mind is, who am I with, right? If it's just me and my sisters, I'm not going to lead and have my sister behind me, because if something happens to them, I'm not going to be able to see it. But if it's me and my homies, two of us might pray, the other two might just go out and just watch. I mean, you gotta be realistic what's going on.
But again,
you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, the way that I look at it is, you're exactly right. But what is it for us to say, look, we're not in the proper
just wait another
place right now.
5 minutes.
Yeah, let's
go to your car real quick.
Let's go to our car. Or if we don't go to the car and we aren't comfortable there, how about we just go and look and find the nearest safe space that we can pray? Like, that's practical. It makes sense. So why not take those steps that are necessary to put yourself in a good environment?
Yeah, I want to hear some more stories and opinions on this. So hit us up on our social media, or you can send us an email. We don't tell a lot of people about our email, right? youngmuslimusa@gmail.com. I don't know if people even use emails anymore outside of work.
How else are you going to get those spam discounts?
Let us know, because I think it's something that I've done both, right? I've waited till I was in a safe space and I prayed, and I prayed outside. I've done both. So I want to hear people's perspectives. If you have some facts, please shoot that over too. You know?
Yeah, I think the key thing is just making sure you know your surroundings. Because I've prayed outside for Eid in my community back at home. We would do Eid prayer outside. We did it for years.
I love praying outside.
It's so nice under the trees, the breeze, and you know it's best to like pray right out there in God's creation. You know, you're not in a building with lights. And
that's what I'm saying.
It's like boom, you're right there. So it's very nice, but we understand the community that we're in.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's important. That's very important. What's funny is that this question leads into our next question, which was from Amo, who asked us.
Ahmed Matawa.
Amo asked us. He said, "How did you guys start praying at work?" So that led into, like, I'll let you go off of that one because you started here before me. It's been working.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been benefiting from that.
Alhamdulillah, man. I'm glad, man. So when I first started getting into the workplace, it was one of those things where I just had my rug, and when it was that time, I was like, hey, guys, at first I really didn't tell anybody. I would just go in like a room and start praying, but then it started getting weird because people started like walking in on me, you know? So after that, I kind of like let like the CEO know, and then other people like my close friends, other people, like, hey, look, there's certain times of the day where I'm gonna go and pray. Make sure that nobody comes in this conference room or this back room or just closet room, storage room, whatever. Like, hey, just know that Mo's praying.
You praying beside mops and stuff?
All right, whatever, like small storage closets. At first, it's weird for people, but then after a little bit, you just gotta stay consistent. Because if you stay consistent with it, it becomes a norm. At first, it was something that was just weird, right? But then after people start seeing you and it's around 12 o'clock, 12:30, and Mo's not at his desk and his rug is gone, they already know what time it is, you know?
Yeah.
So, alhamdulillah, that's a blessing because, like, they know, like, oh, where's Mo at? Mo's praying. And when Jabril, I already set that platform, right? Then when Jabril came on, I was like, look, I'm not taking it, like, I know from the answer. I got to pray. I got to go to Jummah. Like, no, like, no matter what, I'm doing it. They're like, okay.
yeah. So my first day was funny about my first day.
You said okay?
Yeah, my first day, bro, I was ready to put up a fight. I was like, yeah, tell me no. I'm going to take you to court. Tell me no. And I was like, yeah, Fridays, same situation as Mo. He was like, oh, okay. Ain't no problem. Like, he was just like, yo, we understand. I was like, damn.
But people don't make that ask. That's the issue. Problem. They don't make the ask, and they try to blame it on the workspace. Did you ever ask them? Did you ever just go out there and just start praying? Just pull out the mat and just go in the room and pray? Is somebody really gonna stop you? Really think about it. Somebody gonna stop you?
They can't.
Dude,
I mean, it's illegally they can't.
People go outside 5 to 6 to 7 times a day to smoke cigarettes for 10 minutes. You think you stepping out once or twice in the day to pray?
They're gonna know you're gone.
Come on, man.
They're not even gonna know. So there are no excuses.
There's no excuses.
There's no excuses.
In the workplace. If you're construction work and stuff like that, I don't know. There's difference.
No,
I work in office.
Well, it does depend because, like, when I was at the coffee shop, it was very difficult for me to do that because if I shut down the shop, then guess what? I have a customer come up while the shop is closed. Now they're like, why is this dude always closed? This is the only time I can come, and he's always closed it. Mm. So again, like,
it's relative to my experience.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's important for you to understand your environment. Boom. And then understand that you can make up prayers. Yeah. Like that's important. You know what I'm saying? That's important. So, the last thing you want to do is get fired because, you made prayer while you were working at McDonald's and nobody got their food for 10 minutes.
Eat, right? Or you're doing construction work and operate a crane and then you just hop out the crane and go
knocking over buildings and stuff because you decide that, you need to make Asr right when you need to do that. So yeah, it's very important to keep things practical and in context. You know what I'm saying? The situation is very much important to look at. Wow. 2 questions, 2 birds, 1 stone. Mm-hmm. What is the next question, Mo?
So it's from Brother Zayd. Appreciate you, brother. I'm so sorry for what happened to Manchester United. Let's take a quick moment of silence. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, so it says, how long does it take for you all to prep for an episode?
That's a good question because it's changed so much since we first started. Mm-hmm. I think before we were prepping a lot because we didn't really know what we wanted to. We didn't know what this was. You know what I'm saying? Like, our chemistry wasn't always this good when we first started, right? And we were doing topics that required a lot of research. So beforehand, like I was saying, the first 20 or so episodes, we'll say like the first 10.
First 10, yeah.
We had to do a lot of research because we were pulling a lot of hadiths and we were taking a lot of surahs out of Quran and making sure that things were on point and we were checking them. Mm-hmm. And we still do that. Don't get it twisted. That's why we have our computer. That's why we have our phones for. But now, because the topics are a little bit more free, like right now we're doing Q&A. Mm-hmm. We don't really need to prep for those. However, like, I think now that we're closer together, we can actually prep for episodes throughout the day. We can say, like, what's this episode going to be about? Yeah. Oh, what did you see this event that happened? Oh, we need to talk about this. Oh, this person hit us up. Oh, we need, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the prepping never stops. Like, we prep for the episodes on a regular basis, So, like, once the day comes to record, we've already been talking about a lot of things. We've been texting about a lot of things. We found articles that we send each other. We have a way that we have everything written down, and that just makes it easy for us. But like on episodes where we have to actually do research, it takes a special amount. Like we have to find the articles, we have to read the articles. Mm-hmm. Then if you read something and I don't read it, then we have to like tell one another like, yo, like read this article, or like I read this in the article, or I'll say, Mo, you take the lead on this article. Like I'll sit back and you know what I'm saying? So we really just have to communicate what it is that we're going to talk about beforehand in order to prep that. But there's the other side of prepping, and I'll let you go in detail, which is prepping like our equipment, prepping all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that actually matters.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, guys. That's something on the back end a lot of people don't see. Like the operation plays a huge role. I mean, there was one time where I didn't prep well enough, and after we recorded like 2 episodes that were about an hour and a half each, the audio just it didn't record, it didn't sound good. Like,
oh, bro, I was pissed.
The audio was coming through my MacBook speakers instead of the actual equipment.
Oh.
So that right there, that prep takes about 30 minutes. But because I missed that, not only did we, misutilize 4 hours of our time, but we lost our episode. So in the beginning with the equipment, it's a lot of prepping, learning new softwares, adjusting to new mics, playing with different things to find out what works with you and what doesn't. But once you get that down, right, and you start getting a feel for it, you start to kind of cut down that time. But you still need to put time in.
But let's go more detailed oriented, right?
Okay.
Like even like our positioning when it comes to the camera, like where are we going to put the equipment so that like the sound from your microphone, microphone,
how far we sit from each other.
Yeah, like it's very consistent. If you watch our YouTube channel, which you actually should, and make sure you subscribe. We're growing. Like where we want to record, like that's important. Like early on, we didn't have a set place. Like now, alhamdulillah, like we work at the same place and we have access to our jobs so that we can do this. And I have my own place now, so it's like that works. But beforehand, we were recording in cars.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Some of the episodes you guys heard it. There was one episode we recorded in the car and like a train came by. It's all talking about annoying, right? So trying to pick an appropriate spot. Trying to figure out, like, we had to go location scouting. There was one time we were in Norfolk and we had to location scout and we ended up recording in a hotel and then we got kicked out.
Exactly.
Like, we've been kicked out many places while recording. Like when we went to VCU, we had to do the same thing. Like, where we're going to record, go to the library. Like, there's a lot of things that happen where it's unexpected, and you don't really know what's going to happen.
I think it's just ongoing. Like, you can't put a set amount of time because things in life, things mess up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things where kind of sounds corny, but I mean, we kind of stay ready, if anything happens, we're just like, all right, cool, we just adjust. The biggest thing is adjusting, but just keep moving. Really.
Now on the day, like today, right, when we got here with all of our equipment and everything, just the mental prepping, how long do you think that took us in order to, because all right, so what's funny is, like, before each show, both of us have our own thing that we do before we start recording, because we need to get in the zone.
Yes.
So what you can go on that. What is our things?
Okay, so I mean, what I like to do, I like to play a little bit of hype music to get me going. I always gotta grab my cup of tea just so I can get the caffeine in me running, and I just knock out some push-ups. It gets me like my adrenaline pumping, gives me some energy. But we got in here about 7:45, 8 o'clock, and we didn't start recording until 9. Yeah. So it took us that long to prep.
Yeah.
Right, and just not even prep information-wise or research-wise, just to get in the right state of mind. There's been times where Jabril and I would get everything done and we would just sit in front of the mic and we're just like, we're not feeling it. And just shut down shop and we just leave. I mean, we're mad because we spend a lot of time, but it's like, if it's not, Biggie said it best, don't make moves if your heart's not in it. Like, make moves when your heart's in it. Sky's the limit, baby. Hey.
Sky is the limit. I don't know lyrics, but it's a good song. It's a great song.
But you got to feel it.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So it's not just about technical; it's also about the emotional, like how you feeling. I know, like this episode, before we started this, I had to do like some deep breathing. I had to do like real deep breathing. Like I did like 30, 40 breaths while I had a hype song playing, so I could breathe in that energy, and then I could kind of relax, because not every day do we show up and it's like, yo, it's the best day ever. Like sometimes your mental state, throughout the day carries over, and we make sure that like that doesn't carry over. That's why when the episode first started, we were like, yo, no negativity. Like we need to just leave that out. We want to come with the right sort of energy, you know what I'm saying? Like make sure the episode bumps so that when people listen to it, they're getting hyped too, you feel me?
I'm glad you said that, because somebody had asked me questions on my personal account, and they were like, subhanAllah, like Marshall, you guys are back at it again. Like how do you guys find the time or just the energy with all this noise outside? You know what I mean? Like how, and dude, she's exactly right, because I was like, life is hard. People are busy. This thing's going on every single day. But there was one thing that Jabril and I said before we even started, it's like, look, if we're gonna start this, not only do we have to go all in, but we have to make a promise to ourselves that we're gonna stay committed, and no matter what happens, we're gonna communicate and get things done. I mean, there's been times where like Jabril has some pressing things going on. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm sorry. Like you gotta miss that. You know what I mean? Mo, you gotta miss that. It sucks. Dude, it sucks.
No. This like but when he says like pressing things, we're talking like family things.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking like I need to go out to Shake Shack with some friends. I'm talking like my sister has like recital today that I can't go to because I'm here recording. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So like real stuff. Like we're missing a lot of family time and stuff. So that goes into prepping. Like you have to commit. Like we had to.
That's the biggest thing, I guess. Yeah, just the commitment.
The commitment. If you
to have that.
To it. Yeah. So I mean, I think we kind of. I'm not gonna say we got away from the question. We went a little bit deeper than probably expected, but the prep time for each episode is more than just what you do right before the episode. It's about what you did. What you decided. It's about making that decision and then sticking to it, and then everything else falls into place. You know what I'm saying? So like. We have plans for this podcast that we decided long ago, and we're just now getting to. I'm
surprised you didn't drop your favorite quote. A plan.
Oh.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, it's like my man, Mr. Garrity, David G. Garrity. And the G is for going places, baby. And he said, a plan is useless. A plan is useless.
Luscious.
I'm talking like Trump. A plan is useless, yet planning is indispensable. I quote Mr. David G. Garrity, who quoted President Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Yes, sir.
Good man. Matter of fact, I gotta hit up Mr. G. Actually, I haven't talked to him in a while. Hope he's doing well.
All right, let's jump to the next question. No. All right. This is from Sister Fauzia Abdelhai. Thanks so much for the question. She is the host of the Nap Time is Sacred podcast. All right. She said, what are y'all's favorite and least favorite thing about podcasting? Thank you so much for the question, Sister. Jabril, you're going to have to start this one off.
Oh, my. Wow. So do we want to just go like favorite and then we'll...
Least favorite, yeah.
Least favorite?
Yeah, I mean, go both. You say your favorite, I'll say my favorite. Then you say your least favorite, I'll say my least favorite.
I think my favorite thing is being able to have a platform where we can get to know different people and they're all over the place. Like everybody's experience is so different, but we're able to talk and everybody's able to relate to what we say in some sort of way. Whether you fully agree with it, partly agree with it, whatever, it's like it's really cool to see like there's more people out there who like are also on the journey. You know what I mean? So I think that's my favorite part about podcasting. Let's just go through all the favorites. I got more than one. So you go ahead. Okay. You knock a couple off. You go
My
ahead.
favorite is I get to hang out with you, buddy. Psych. So let's actually be serious here.
Yo, you were lame, man. You got a friend in me.
You know what I mean? No, I would say my favorite thing is that every single day, not only do I have something to look forward to, but none of my days are the same. Actually, nobody's day is exactly the same. But like when somebody's like, "Hey Mo, how are things going?" Like, yeah, work is great. How's the podcast? I love talking about the podcast.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So me, like, I can wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I see like somebody subscribe to our channel. They like the video.
Get you hyped.
They commented like, I'm hyped. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I get 20 emails. I'm like, dang, cuz work about to be busy today.
They blowing me.
they blowing me.
So there's a big difference between getting 20 emails and 20 DMs.
Absolutely.
And 20 like DMs where you have to like go in depth. There's this one sister from Russia, and me and her been trying to like communicate over the last 3-4 weeks because of the time difference. Oh, yeah. And it's like it's crazy and it's stressful because it's like goodness great. I know she wants her question answered. I want to answer it, but I have more enjoyment trying to figure that out than figuring out stuff for like clients.
You can believe that, and you're getting paid for the for the latter.
Exactly. But
what else do you like?
I really like. I like putting people onto the podcast and getting their live feedback.
Oh,
I like getting feedback, whether it's good or it's bad. I know we've gotten some feedback on the podcast about like the sound quality on the videos. So but it's like we see that improvement. One of my mantras for life is strive to thrive, endure, and survive. So it's like every day you're striving to get better and better and better. It's like be on the rise, and you endure the hard parts of what it takes to get to your goal. And I think for us, we've we're living in that motto. You feel me? We're living in that mantra where it's like every day somebody's telling us like, yo, I really like it. But then we also have people that are saying like, yo, you suck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've had people, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that's actually one of my favorite parts. I enjoy those people that say you suck because I want to shove it in their face and I want to say we can do better.
Yeah.
And we're going to do better. You feel me?
I like that.
And then on the opposite end, it's like, you know, endure and survive. It's like, we've gone through some tough times where it's like, bro, like, how are we about to do this? Especially when we lived far apart from one another. So it was like, yo, we live 3.5, 4 hours away from one another. How are we about to record and be consistent with it? Like, that was our first hurdle.
Oh, you talking about endurance, survive. Remember that one time, man, it's all Sprint's fault. I sacrificed my life. Remember there was a hurricane coming? And then you text me, but I never got that text.
This man, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Bro, how did I forget about that? So, all right, stories like this. I text Mo and I was like, look, don't like come up this weekend like we normally doing. We would trade weekends. I go there, he'd come down here, we meet in Richmond. Right? So this weekend, he was supposed to come down to my place, down in Chesapeake. So I'm like, yo, don't come. There's supposed to be a hurricane coming.
What time you text me? Like 1 a.m?
Yeah, I text you like early. It was like it was the night before. I was like, nah, don't come.
Yeah,
like
you text me at 1, but I'm supposed to get up at 5 and leave anyway. But
yeah, exactly. So I was like, he's gonna see the text when he wakes up and be like, hype. You know what I'm saying? Go back to sleep. Cool. It's the weekend. I wake up at 7:00 and I hear Jabril, Mo's here. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this dude walks back and I'm like cross-eyed, like, dog, I text you. What the heck? He's looking so confused.
I'm like, what?
I'm like, bro, let's record.
He's like, bro, there's a hurricane coming. I was like, I know, let's hurry up and get this done. I gotta leave. My life on the line.
Yeah, that was wild. I'm not gonna lie. That was one of the wildest like thing, because I'm waking up and then you like right in my room and I'm like, dog, what the heck?
But that has to be my other favorite thing, the adventure. You know, like there's so many different things that we've done with the podcast. Like you talking about going to like hotels and getting, you know, just getting kicked out, driving down to Richmond. Like, what are we about to record today? I don't know. Well, let's walk around and see who has an open place. Calling friends up, like, hey, can we come record at your spot?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. So I would just say, just adventure, you know?
Yeah. You never know exactly what it's going to take to do something until you're smack dab in the middle of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And just to go off your point where you're like, no 2 days are the same. You know, every day is something different because now that we do talk about recent events on the podcast, every day is a little bit different because something might come up that like we have to really sit and we have to discuss. Yeah. And we might not even be getting ready to record. We just need to sit down and talk about this because like, yo, like, is it something that we need to talk? We had that today where we're like, yeah, I don't know if we can talk about that on the podcast, you know? And sometimes we disagree. What makes it hard is like the fact that we do agree on stuff. And I think just kind of segue into my least favorite things. I think that's probably one of my least favorite things about the podcast, which is funny because it's like my favorite and my least favorite is that we do agree on a lot of the same things. Yeah. So it's like it's very hard sometimes to find topics that aren't just like, you know, joyous and bubbly. It's like or things that we kind of don't see eye to eye on. So I think that's my favorite part is like, you know, I have a good co-host so that when we talk about certain things, you know, we're able to give two different perspectives because we come from two different backgrounds, two different areas. But at the same time, we agree on so many things, it makes it difficult to always give different perspectives.
Because we just come back to the same point.
Yeah, we come back full circle and we meet each other. So it's like, well, damn. Yeah, what about you? What's some of your least favorite things?
One of my least favorite things is that how much time we have to put into the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not like I love the time.
Damn,
but
you can quit anytime.
Not like that. Like I love doing it, but I go back and see like how much time. I'm not like relative, like how much time it takes. It takes a lot more time than people think. Yeah. You know, and that sucks because there's some friends that I haven't been able to see, some family members I never had a chance to travel and see. That's the part that I hate. Not that you know, it's not that it's taking me away from things, but there's a lot of time that I need to be invested in it, which I'm okay with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't hate it. I just know that that's one of my least favorite things because if I get that time back, I would be hanging out with Jabril more, his family more, and not doing work. Even though we're together a lot, when we're doing work, sometimes we can't even really catch up.
Yeah, we don't enjoy one another. We just
like you know, like
all right,
bro,
cool, do this, record, boom.
Exactly.
But what I think was funny about that, just on that point, is that our relationship is like we're business partners and we're best friends. Yeah. So it works. It comes full circle for us because doing this is quality time. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like how I can kick it.
That's true.
Like this is my kick it time. So that's one of my favorite things. This to me is like kick it time. This isn't like work. This is like, I enjoy doing this. I get hype thinking it. Like I get on the podcast, social medias, and I enjoy seeing.
It's a full-time thing. Yeah, you're doing it throughout the day, throughout night. It's not like, we're recording. After we leave here, we're going to go back and talk about some more ideas. Go back on Instagram. Go back on the news. See what's going on. It's everything for us now. It's never ending. It's never ending. I
also think that's one of my, and I experienced today. Like today I had like a anxiety attack because I was thinking about so many different things. Like,
that's what I'm talking
about
with
the podcast and like stuff that we're planning, and we got to do this. We got guests. We got and like money and like so it was like because we're advancing right now. So there's a lot of things that we're getting ready to do that's making it very hard for us to just stay in the moment with things. And I literally just started freaking out today. Like I was just like I didn't know what to do, And so I think that's probably one of my least favorite things is that because of how I am, mentally sometimes it's taxing, and I have a hard time taking a break from certain things. So I think personally for me, just because of my personality, that's one of my least favorite parts.
I like that.
I don't like that pause. Come on, bro.
I'm trying to think. I don't have a lot. I mean, I love doing this. There's not many things that are just
exactly
like
right.
I don't.
You're exactly right.
What else? I mean, if there was like a lot of things I didn't like doing, I wouldn't be doing this.
We'll take this with a grain of salt though, because as you guys are listening, you're probably like, dang, that really does suck. It sucks, but guess what? I enjoy it. I don't think many people. I put it this way: I don't think there's anybody that could do the podcast the way that we're doing it. And when I say the way we're doing it, I'm not talking about how you guys are receiving this. I think there's plenty of people that have great podcasts that do a way better job than we do. Yep. It's about what we put into it and how we go about planning it, how we go about, getting the content that we eventually put in the audio form, in video form. There's plenty of people that are doing podcasts, but they're not doing video. Yep. Like that's also, a threat. I mean, in fact, that also goes into one of the best parts about the podcast, that I have a partner who took the initiative to learn how to do the audio, because neither one of us knew how to do it, and you stepped up to the plate. Actually, my dad was like, "Yeah, I feel like Mo would be good at it." I was like, "Why? What? This man still types with 2 fingers."
An engineer for real.
So I was like, why? But it came clutch because I was already doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, and I have a better awareness of like social media and how we can navigate that. So it's like both of us are able to feed off of one another and the knowledge that we've gained over the years doing various projects. So that's one of the good things, and one of my favorite parts is that I'm not in it alone.
To go off your point, that right there is my least and favorite thing about it. So one of the things I don't like is that this podcast has made me do things that I just don't want to do, like Instagram lives. I don't like that stuff. I don't like being in front of the camera. I've never been that guy. So doing Instagram lives, learning the audio, like this is stuff that's all new for me. At first, I'm like, all right, I guess it comes with the territory, But then once I learned that stuff, it's still taxing, but it's helping me grow. So that's the positive about it. Like, it's just like when you play soccer. I love playing soccer, but I hate conditioning. But I know that it's good for me. I know that overall it's going to help me in the long term to become a great player, a great overall player, So that's what I was saying.
Damn. All right, those are all very good points. That was a very good question. That was deep. That took us a lot deeper than we thought we were going to go.
Got me thinking.
So what, we answered 4 out of 5, and so is this the last question?
Oh, yes, it
is. This is Samia of the Rogue Muslim Podcast.
Yes.
We only had to shout her out because go listen to her podcast, guys. She's really good. You can read a question. You got it right in front of you.
What tools have you guys been raising with and continue to develop to be open-minded individuals who actually listen and try to learn from everyone around you? Because you're really open folks who share vulnerability and strength, and that you can find strength in the vulnerability. You guys are super cool dudes and love life. Thank you. So yeah, how did you guys become this way?
I woke up like this. I get it from my mom. No, damn, that's a really good question.
That's a great question.
Thank you, Samia.
Right. You want to start this one?
Yeah, you go ahead, bro.
Right. Cool. I'm gonna, cause there's a lot of different points. I'm just gonna go through the question and kind of just break it down.
Dissect it.
Yes, exactly. So it says, what tools have you guys been raised with that helps us, continue to be open-minded individuals? The tools, I'll say my parents for sure. My mom and my dad have that very good dynamic and equilibrium. My mom, she loves to talk. She's like, she's full of energy and, like swag and spunk and all that stuff. And my dad is real laid back. He loves to listen to people and see how their day was. So when you see that balance, that kind of really helps you, because what I got from my father is that I love to listen to, and I love just like chilling and getting to know somebody like one-on-one. So when you like hanging out with somebody one-on-one, you let them vent, right? You let them vent, tell you what's going on. And from there, I never want to come from the perspective of me judging. I mean, being the eldest of about like 6 siblings, it's like I can't judge all my siblings. So they come to me if there's any problems. So I got to legitimately sit there and listen to every single person's problem, right? And they typically don't even want to answer half the time. They just want somebody to listen without even saying anything, right? So when you come from that standpoint, all right, I'm not going to judge this person. I want to see what they're talking about and try to understand them, because a lot of people don't listen to understand. A lot of people listen to respond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm listening to understand. And once you start understanding people, that really does open up your mind, because it really calms you down and you take yourself out of the scenario. You know what I mean? Once you take yourself out of the scenario, it's all about the person that you're talking to. Then when you do that and you stop thinking about yourself, your mind automatically just opens up. You know?
That's dope.
Yeah.
I think for myself, as far as, finding strength and vulnerability, I think a lot of it comes from, my parents teaching me something very vital. The last khutbah that I gave when I was back at home, I highlight how my parents taught me the importance of being a free thinker, being able to think for myself. And in that scenario that I put together, for that particular khutbah, I was just saying how, when everybody else was going left, I was going right, and my parents taught me. On purpose? Yeah, because my parents taught me, like, it's okay to be different and to stand out, and so, like, very much like your point, not a lot of people like to listen. Everybody likes a wall. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants you to just sit there and take it. Yeah. So, I grew up as an only child for the most part. So, my dad did a good job of every day after school saying, "How was your day?" and letting me be able to talk and express myself. So then when I would go out and talk to other people, I was respecting other people's opinions and their want to be able to vent and talk, and I think some of it is just like innately I have a persona where people like to talk to me, and I like to hear people's problems, and I like to help people solve their issues, So, dog, you doing that on camera?
Oh my god!
Please, how long have you been on YouTube? Go to about 48 minutes. Oh my god, you're disgusting.
Forget about it. No, I use a tissue. Use a tissue. Calm down, bro.
Yeah, so my parents constantly talked to me and put the religion in a perspective for me that as a child I was able to understand it and be able to use my own reasonable thinking, my free critical thinking, and I was able to actually make the religion something that appealed to my common sense. Okay. It wasn't something that was mysterious or mystic. It was like, this makes sense. Like I see the religion in everything that we do. You know what I'm saying? So part of our religion is to be nice to people and to respect others. And so when we do things like this and we are talking to other people, or we're really looking at how women are treated, it's very much like having to have the respect for someone else and what they're going through, and not to judge it right off the back, because you never know what someone else is going through.
I learned that.
You know what I'm saying? You never know. So like everything that I am is from my parents.
Absolutely.
My parents and the law, you know what I'm saying? Like, I take no credit for any of it. I mean, there's obviously been like self-growth, and I had to learn those sort of things, you know what I'm saying?
That came later.
Yeah, it definitely came later in life. It also stems from the people that you keep around you. You know what I'm saying?
That was my next thing. Well, let me ask you a question, because you said when everybody went left, you went right. That's something very hard to do, because everybody wants to be a part of something. right? So when people want to be a part of something, they might just join something just because they want to be alone, even if they don't believe in it.
You want to know what my dad used to
So
tell me all the time?
how did you backfire that?
My dad used to tell me all the time when I was, real young. I'm talking kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
Lad.
He used to say, "You have no friends." And I used to get pissed. I used to get so
Break
mad.
that down. What does it mean by
like,
that?
Pops, what do you mean? Like, I got friends. Like, and I used to really take it to heart because I'm like,
Have you seen my MySpace? You tripping?
I don't think MySpace around. I was like, you see my black book? I got 3 numbers in here. All my friends. But like, I used to take offense to that because I thought he was saying like, you're lame, like nobody likes you sort of deal, right? But what he meant by that was, you gotta stay focused and you gotta do what's right for you, and you can't follow behind people because not everybody has your best interests at heart. And I learned that the hard way in some ways, and now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, my daddy told me.
Yeah.
Like he used to always say, he was like, one day you're gonna be like, damn, my daddy told me.
daddy
And I was sitting, now it's the day I'm like, damn, my daddy told me.
20 plus years later, daddy told.
Yeah, so that was actually something big where it made me more cautious of who I surrounded myself with. You feel me? And understanding that it's okay to say no, and then watch how people react when you say no or you don't decide to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? How are people talking about you in those situations? But then also, my dad raised me in a way that you're going to always have to go and get it yourself.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I'm saying? You always got to go out and get it. So when it comes to starting things like the podcast, this is like a perfect combination of all my life lessons. Being able to talk reason, use your common sense, use the religion, you know what I'm saying? Like to give out positive vibes and to be able to appeal to people's human nature, you know what I'm saying? Like the things that our soul hunger for. The other thing is that, like when it comes to business, this podcast is the perfect playground. You know what I'm saying? There's so many opportunities for us to work. So it's like, this is like perfect, man. Like I love everything that we do with this podcast and everything that it means, for me in my life.
Okay.
So
let's go back to that, the earlier thing that you had mentioned in regards to what your dad taught you, be a free thinker and kind of stay on your own. But for me, it was a little bit different because my pops was always at work. So those conversations with him were tough because I barely would see him. The only time I would see him is when he would make food or just kind of kiss us in the morning before he would go to work. So it's tough because you have people that when they're younger, they're surrounded by family, which I was. And we're taught, certain culture taught, or maybe everybody's taught, you stick with family no matter what, even if they're leading you down the wrong direction, the wrong path. That's not right. I'm not saying that's what people are saying, but the motive or just like the cliffhanger on it is just that no matter what, you have family's back. So when I was younger, my family would go out, right? My cousins would go out and do things. Maybe that's not something I want to do, but I didn't want to be alone, and I would never want to leave my family, so I would go with them. But then after a little bit, that just started getting old because we started doing things that I didn't like. But I was like, well, if I don't have my family, I don't have nobody. So once I started growing older, I was like, yeah, this is getting a little bit, it's getting a little bit difficult because I really don't like what they're doing now, and I'm just on a different spectrum, on a different scale. Like I like different things that they don't. So I had to get that on my own, right? Because the things that I was doing, I was like, man, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't make sense. So I was like, you know what? I had to take myself out of the picture real quick. You know what they say, like that I think Drake said, like take a step back so you can see the full picture. You know what I mean? So I took a step back and I looked like, I don't want my life to be like this. I don't want my life to go down this path. So once I took a step back, I really saw what everybody else was doing. I decided to take another route. But that was something I had to go and do,
Yeah. No, I see exactly what you mean, which is funny because I grew up in a totally different way because until I met you in college, I didn't go to school with any Muslim people. Yeah. So I think in a way it did good for me and it also did harm because in certain ways, community isn't just about like, are you around a lot of Muslims? Are you around a lot of people who are like you and who you can identify with? You know what I mean? So for me, there wasn't a lot of people that I could identify with in school except for people who I was culturally associated with, or like by skin tone, like, or it was just by stuff that I like doing. Like I like playing video games and some of my best friends just like playing video games, you know what I'm saying? Or like sword fighting and watching movies, like that was stuff that I enjoyed doing. So for me, in many ways I was similar to people, but I was also different than everybody else because of my religious affiliation. And so when it comes to like how I remained, vulnerable. It's like you have to be able to tap into those emotions to understand what it is that you're feeling and how you're thinking in a certain situation. You feel me?
That's my next question for you.
Yeah, like to stay open-minded. It's like you can't. It's crazy. I was never in a scenario where I could afford to be closed-minded because I was never surrounded with people that were just like, no, this is the only way.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because I was growing up basically by myself in different ways. Like I had friends that were from different places, different religions. And I had to stay open to them because at the same time, I wanted everybody to be open to me.
Okay.
You feel me?
So I feel like being open-minded, a lot of people struggle with that, but I think that's something that they can overcome. How about being vulnerable? Not only being a male, but being a black male. Because that took me a very, very, very long time to open up and tell people how I'm feeling. Yeah. That's hard. Because when I met you, you were off the bat. Were you always like that, or did you go into that?
I think I've always been like that, man. And with that, it's hard because that's my natural inclination to be open with people, and to be very inviting to let people in. However, it hurts because not everybody is willing to
use that in a positive way.
Use that with care. You know what I'm saying? Like some people take advantage of that, or some
be
people
delicate with stuff like that.
Yeah, they abuse it. So for me, I've gone through a lot of different scenarios where like I'm getting hurt because I have this gift, right, of being open and being vulnerable. But at the same time, it's like it doesn't matter how many times you fall down. It's about how you get up, because eventually you're going to get up, and you're going to get up at the right time, and you're going to find that thing that's going to carry you forward. So like right now, I've never switched up. I remember this one guy I went to school with. He told me, because we ended up going to the same college and whatever was going on at the time. And he was like, dude, and we weren't friends in high school. We weren't friends by any stretch of the imagination. But he's like, bro, I respect you because since I've known you, you've never switched up. You know what I'm saying? You were there. You were there. I remember that too. You were there. You remember that?
I felt that.
Yeah. And like, I'm not going to lie, like to this day, it actually meant something because it showed me that you don't have to change who you are to fit everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to go cold, like no new friends. Like I never got in that mode where I was like, you know what, that's the wave I'm about to get on. No new friends. Or like I've always generally dressed the same way. Like it's weird.
Yeah. Like
can you imagine like third grade me dressing like this? Like
definitely not.
I look like a British taxi cab driver. But no, it's about understanding that somebody else can benefit from your pain and they can benefit from your joy. And so that's why I openly give myself to other people, because I get enjoyment out of seeing other people happy. I get my enjoyment out of seeing other people like doing well, and that's generally just how I thrive. Like, I'm a big introvert. I'm an extrovert. So like for me, I get my energy out of other people. It doesn't matter if it's a room full of people or if it's just one person.
Yep.
I get my energy from a cat, but like, when he's hungry, I be like, yeah, I feel you, but like, I feel that energy and I feed off of it, because I like if somebody's angry or upset, I want to just naturally make them feel better, because for me, I'm like, negative energy travels. It might not hit me, but it might hit everybody else around me, and then it might hit me. You know what I'm saying? So I make sure I kill that or I bounce.
Bro, I love all those points. I'm not gonna lie, bro. If Allah didn't bring us together, I don't know if I would even become more vulnerable. Because when I growing up, our culture, society tells us as males, something happens, you just brush it off. You don't talk about it. You hold it in, and I used to do that. I used to hold everything in, but that just drove me crazy.
You're constipated in your emotions.
Like you were constipated in your mind, because like you can't hold all this stuff, and you gotta let people know how you're feeling and what's going on. Especially your culture and African culture. It's like, hey, don't worry about it. The man is a strong one. He puts the family on his back. Don't worry about what's going on. Just stay focused. Like you do that. But then when I met you, I'm just like, this guy's also black. He's also Muslim, and he just telling me how he's feeling, what's going on. That right there, that takes guts. Like, that's bravery, to tell somebody how you're really feeling. Man, there was one point I used to have that same mode all day, whether I was happy, hungry, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Why emotional. Always so smiley?
Well, I would have like a lot of people thought in high school, they thought I was just a mean dude because I just had that face. I always had that picture in my mind. It's like, if I don't let anybody in, then I can't be hurt. You feel me? So I was like, cool. I don't want nobody get in. And if they do get in, it's gonna take them some time. You gotta take a few tests, the SATs, ACTs,
the MOEs,
But that sucks because there was a lot of people that I probably turned back or didn't get to know just because of my fear. You know what I mean? Of being hurt. You can call it trust issues. You can call it whatever you want. But now I can have I'm having this conversation with a full, like a grown man. You know what I mean? I never thought I would have that.
And not only that, you're broadcasting this out to an unlimited amount of people.
Oh, damn, you're right. Cut that.
Yeah, man. I mean, so yeah, she was saying we're really open folks who share vulnerability and strength. I mean, look, vulnerability equals strength because at the end of the day, you get stronger when you broadcast the things that make you, tick.
Because
Yeah. It's all about self-awareness. The more self-aware you become and the more you do and the more good you do with the intent to help others, the stronger you become. Allah will bless you for that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the smallest things you get blessed for. And not saying, we actually had this conversation, and I do want to have that conversation. I don't do things just to get the blessings. I do things because it's the right thing to do, and I know that I can help people, which in turn, I know Allah loves those who help the creation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, being open and showing strength and showing real, raw.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? When we started the podcast, that was one of the first things I said, Mo, we're going to start this podcast. And because I know you, I was like, I looked you dead in the eyes. I was like, we're going to have to put everything out on the table. Mm-hmm. We have to, because if we don't, people aren't going to want to hear what we have to say.
And then I was like, I don't know you, bro. Sign here.
Yeah, but it was real though. It was like, even after the first podcast, the second one, I was like, Mo, we got to keep it raw. And one thing you pointed out today is that I repeat certain things over and over and over and over again. And he was like, why don't you write it down? For me, I think it's, genetics, or just just out of seeing it, out of habit. My dad speaks things into existence, and I've seen him speak things into existence that none of us thought were like, oh, he's not gonna do that. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna get a radio show. Boom, got a radio show. The joint's been on for 4 years.
Kept telling himself that every single day. We're gonna get a radio show.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm gonna get a podcast. He didn't get a podcast, but he helped us get one. You know what I'm saying? So
the founder.
Yeah, I found it.
The founder.
So I've seen that in motion, and I've seen myself do it. You feel me? I've done it. So that's how I move. So in that period of time where we were like, yo, how we about to do this? Or I don't know, man. I was like, Mo, we got no choice. Yeah. We decide to commit to this. We got to be open with people, because we know that there are people out here that need us. There's people out here that need to hear that they're not alone and going through what they're going through. And so we want to put our vulnerabilities on the table so that we can help other people access that part of themselves and say, man, okay, I'm not unworthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, Allah really is going to forgive me, for not being perfect, because none of us are perfect. Only Allah is perfect. You feel me? So it's like,
and a prophet.
Yeah, and a prophet. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you make others feel as though they're accepted, you know what I'm saying? Like, we create community. Nothing's greater than community. You know what I'm saying? Your family didn't lie about that. Mm-hmm. Even though they said family doesn't just have to be blood relatives. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're not my blood, but damn, you show us family. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So and then the people that we're really cool with through the podcast, I consider them family, because we all got each other's backs, point blank. So when you give people that access and you willingly give, you know what I'm saying? This is a charity. You know what I'm saying? This is zakat in a way. You know what I'm saying? This is sadaqah. This is our way of helping others without it having to be about finances.
Yeah, and you're spreading the message. Alhamdulillah, bro. Man, it's such a great question. Look at you, Samaya, making us go out on a tangent on this one. Thank you.
So let's go in detail. We're going to end this pretty soon, but I do want to talk about this conversation we had right before we recorded, which was, I feel that some people think about getting blessings and do things just for blessings, and I think personally that's selfish. You disagree with me. I want to have this conversation right here, so we can, see what other people think. What do you think about that? I think it's selfish.
I mean, if somebody's doing a good deed regardless, I think it's good overall, right? It may be selfish because they're doing it for themselves first and then Allah second, right? They want other people to see that's bad, right? Absolutely, that's bad. But if you kind of kind of set yourself out like, okay, today I'm going to fast because I want the blessings. What's wrong with that?
I don't think anything's wrong with that, but I'm talking more in terms of like you do good things only for like.
So right now you see a homeless person, like you don't even think about the fact, we talk about this, you don't even think about the fact that you're about to feed him because he's hungry. You think about the fact that because I'm feeding him, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of blessings.
Exactly. Yes. So I'm like, look, it's the right thing to do to like, I saw a guy and he was asking for money and I was like, man, I don't have any money to give you. But then I was like, you know what? I should feed him. After the fact, I was like, man, like I'm going to get some blessings for that. Yeah. But my mentality wasn't like, oh, this is my opportunity to get some blessings. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's certain people that think like that. Like they're like, oh, I need to do this so I can get blessings. I need to do this so I can get blessings. But it's like, you need to do it because it's the right thing to do. And Allah commands us to do it, so we do it. But I'm not doing this to get any monetary gain. I'm not even doing this to get any sort of, gain out of it. I'm just doing it because
spiritual
it's the right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even doing it for spiritual gain. I'm doing it because, it's the right thing to do, and innately in our soul, in our being, this is what we're here for.
So because you said that, I truly believe that when somebody's about to do something good, I don't think that even the blessing even crossed their mind. So for example, if there's somebody laying on the side of the street and it's snowing, it's cold out, and you see a blanket, like you may give him a jacket. I don't think when you pull out your jacket, like, oh man, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get some blessing. Like, dang, he's cold. I mean, that's just human nature. You know what I mean? Like, man, this person's cold. I have a chance to help him. I think it's different when people broadcast it, right? Talking about for the blessing. So for example, there's one thing that I used to do that I kind of stopped, was that every time I would go to like the Salvation Army or just whatever, used to give out stuff, I used to put it online, right? I did it so the people can get it stuff, but I think it might have been one of those things where I was doing it for the blessings, you know what I'm saying? And then showing people like, yo, I'm doing something good, but I didn't feel that connection inside, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard, but I still don't think it's a bad thing. If you're doing a good deed, I just think that's awesome. Alhamdulillah,
I'm not even saying it's bad. I just think it's selfish. And maybe it's not bad. I mean, that was just the argument we had. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're wrong. It was a conversation. And I, that's the thing. Look, guys, it's okay to have open-minded discussions and not be right. Like
everybody wants to be right.
Yeah, like if just because you bring something up to the table, it doesn't mean like you're doing it with the intent saying I'm right. This is exactly how you have to think. Yeah. Like it's like, yo, what do you think about this? Like this is what I think, and maybe something you say changes the way that I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Or just adds to it, or puts a different flavor.
Exactly. So yeah, like I think like if you go into a situation where you're like, I'm going to do this to get blessings. And I thought that. Like, don't get it twisted.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I've done it. Same here.
I've done it. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and feed somebody today and get some blessings. But I'm also like, let me make it a habit where every week I try and go feed somebody. Yeah. Right? Like, I look at zakat like this. When you go to Juma, right? And then you leave the mosque and give zakat, not only is it blessings, but it's also going to be helping so many more people receive the message. Yeah. Right? It's also going to be able to help them reach this goal to build a masjid, right? Like there's so much more. It's so much more than just the personal blessings you get. You're also allowing other people to receive blessings later on. So I'm not like my blessings, alhamdulillah, like I hope that Allah, gives me blessings, but my main priority isn't always just about what I'm going to receive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you bring up it's a little bit different now. It's not you focused.
Yeah, I'm not focused on me when I go and do something.
I see. Okay, now you shed some more light on it. I think that makes a little bit more sense now.
Yeah, man. So like there was this example. I was leaving an event in DC, and this lady comes up and she was like, "Oh, you have any money?" And I was like, "No, I don't have any." I checked my change thing. I was like, "No, I don't have any money. I'm sorry." And then I look over, I had an extra Nutri-Grain bar, and I was like, "Oh, are you hungry?" She was like, "Yes." Her face lit up. Like I got so much enjoyment out of that because I was like, "Wow, like this woman's so happy. She's getting ready to eat." Like, alhamdulillah. Not one time was I thinking like, "Oh yes,
20 points."
Yeah, like scoop, like no, you know what I'm saying? Like that didn't even cross my mind.
He died real quick.
Did I think maybe for a split second like, man, I'm gonna get blessings for that? No, why? Like why are we trying to keep a points tally? Yeah. There's angels. We have our angels around us that are doing all that for us.
Exactly.
Like we shouldn't have to think about that. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't have to think about that at all. And that's my opinion on it. Now, if you don't agree, if you have another opinion on that, hit us up on Instagram. Real talk. Pull up.
There's a lot of things that we want to hear you guys, perspectives on. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Young, the letter N, Muslim. That's Young N, Muslim, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because we are getting a lot of attention on that. We really do appreciate it. Looks like you guys like watching us, which we really do appreciate. And then listen to us on all the major platforms that you listen to podcasts on. That's Google Play, iTunes, Castbox. Have I missed anything? SoundCloud. The Young and Muslim Podcast.
Oh yeah, if you want to email us, where can they email us at?
youngmuslimusa@gmail.com. youngmuslimusa@gmail.com.
Exactly. So that was a great way to wrap this podcast. So we hope that all you guys are doing extremely well. We want to give shout outs to all of our listeners because you guys are awesome. You guys have been crushing it, and you guys are making it more and more exciting to do, each and every podcast. Oh, special announcement that we got a surprise for you guys. Mostly I can't tell you, but we have a surprise for you guys. So make sure you guys keep listening to these episodes because one of these episodes, something great is going to happen.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So my name is Jabril Salam.
And this is Muhammad Hassan.
And we are, you are listening to the Young and Muslim Podcast.
We hit you with the greetings of peace.
Asalaamu
Alakum. Goodbye.